From kidnapping charges to murder charges.
Cleotha Abston has been charged by MPD homicide investigators with the following state charges.
The latest on the killing of a kindergarten teacher. A social media star accused of killing her boyfriend.
Defense has failed to establish by a preponderance of the evidence.
Appears before a South Florida judge. And an idea that works on Miami Beach Lincoln Road being tried out in D.C.
Just feels great to have the street open up and have kids be able to be on their bikes and people just walking around.
These stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Good morning, South Florida. I'm Julian Davis.
I'm Samantha Gutierrez. Today is Wednesday, September 7th, 2022.
Live from the South Florida Media Network's Biscayne-based studios in North Miami, this is SFMN Newsbreak.
The search for a missing kindergarten teacher has turned into an investigation into her killing. The victim was 34-year-old Eliza Fletcher.
As the network's Daisy DeLeon reports, authorities in Memphis are now adding murder charges against the man they believe was involved in the killing.
Memphis police have identified the body of missing teacher Eliza Fletcher. Authorities found the body Monday about 7 miles where Fletcher was abducted. She was positively identified on Tuesday. Fletcher was on a run early Friday morning when she was abducted and forced into an SUV.
Contrast to whatever baseless speculation you might have seen, we have no reason to think this was anything other than an isolated attack by a stranger.
On Saturday, police arrested Cleotha Abston. He is now charged with murder. He was in court for video arraignment Tuesday and is being held on a $500,000 bond.
While the outcome of this investigation is not what we hoped for, we are nonetheless pleased to remove this dangerous predator off the streets of Memphis.
Abston was previously convicted for kidnapping and spent about 20 years in jail before being released in 2020. For South Florida Media Network, this has been Daisy DeLeon reporting.
A woman who works as an Instagram and OnlyFans model in Miami remains behind bars this morning after being accused of killing her boyfriend. Courtney Clenny, better known as her online name Courtney Taylor, made her first appearance in Miami-Dade court yesterday, this time in an orange jumpsuit instead of a bikini. The 26-year-old was arrested in Hawaii and is being accused of second-degree murder with a deadly weapon. Prosecutors believe she stabbed Christian Ubshelly back in April 3rd.
Respectfully, I find that the defense has failed to establish by a preponderance of the evidence that all 3 prongs of the Lewis test has been established. An
evidentiary hearing was held yesterday where she pleaded not guilty. Her attorneys are arguing self-defense. Clenny's trial is set for December 19th. A cruise ship passenger from Pennsylvania suffered a fatal shark attack in the Bahamas on Tuesday. The passenger, who was a mother aboard the Royal Caribbean ship, was attacked in Green Cay when snorkeling with her family. The family booked an excursion with a local tour company. It was the last time the Pennsylvania mother was seen alive. She suffered bites to her arms, wrists, and hands. Now the cruise line has provided support to the guests' loved ones during this difficult time.
Washington, D.C. is taking a page out of South Florida's book. As reporter Lydia Delgado from our D.C. Bureau reports, they created a pedestrian-only street, a lot like Miami Beach's Lincoln Road.
A portion of 18th Street in Adams Morgan has become a pedestrian zone as part of a pilot program proposed by the Adams Morgan Partnership Business Improvement District. The typically busy road between Columbia and Colorama was free of traffic Sunday from 12 to 10 p.m.
Pedestrians roamed the street and joined free scheduled activities including dance and fitness classes, face painting and balloon artists, participating in chalk murals, and watching street performers.
Just feels great to have the street open up and have kids be able to be on their bikes and people just walking around and see the street artists, and it just brings so much life to the neighborhood. They figured it out in other places. I feel like we should be able to figure it out here in DC to be able to institute this as a permanent as a permanent fixture.
I think we should implement it permanently. I think it's really nice to be able to walk, up and down all the businesses. It's really great to just not have to worry about cars, doing reckless things and hurting people.
The Adams-Morgan Partnership BID received a $525,000 grant from the D.C. Office of Planning's Street for the People program to support its innovative public space efforts.
Most of the $525,000 will be used for physical infrastructure that we will put into the roadway so that we can frequently close the street and do pedestrian zones without having to need as many government resources. There's cities across the U.S. that have already sort of done this in a more permanent way, and we're really hopeful that this will catch on, that this pilot will become more than a pilot.
The pilot program is set to repeat October 23rd. I'm Lydia Jagado reporting for the South Florida Media Network in Washington, D.C.
Staying in D.C., where porch pirates may have met their match this morning. Amazon teams up with police officers to ensure packages go to their rightful owners. Reporter Michelle Morris from our D.C. bureau, more on the new pickup location initiative.
That's right. D.C. is one of the first cities in the country to partner with one of the world's largest retailers, allowing their customers to come and pick up their packages at local police stations. We're actually standing in front of one right now. Right behind me is the 6th District headquarters. In the last 12 months, 49 million Americans have had at least one package stolen, including many in the nation's capital. And now, the Metropolitan Police Department is working to stop that. The lockers sit just outside the police station for easy access and better security. Bakery supervisor Joshua, who has experienced his packages being stolen from his front door, says that he thinks these new efforts will create a sense of security.
I think it's a good thing. It'll make people think twice about stealing, and I think it'll make people harder to steal. So I think it's a good thing, and it makes safety for people.
Accessing the lockers is simple. When ordering online, D.C. residents would have the option to have their package delivered to one of two police station hubs, either the 6th District station or the substation in the southeast side of the city. Once the shipment has arrived, customers will receive a notification. Using the Amazon app, there will be an option to connect the designated locker automatically through Bluetooth. Locals agree the extra protection is a step in the right direction.
If it's providing people with a sense of security, I think that's a really good thing.
Amazon and the Metropolitan Police Department hope to make this option readily available throughout the entire city. In Washington, D.C., reporting for South Florida Media Network, Michelle Morris.
The Miami Marlins looking for redemption today after their game against the Philadelphia Phillies on the road. The Fish played a tight one, keeping the score tied until the final inning when the Phillies scored a run for the win. It added to the game Marlins' 8 losing streak. The final score was 2 Miami and Philadelphia 3. The two face off later today at 6:45 for their third game of the 4th series.
Today is the day that Apple unveils the latest iPhone.
That's still ahead, and so is this story.
We do not launch until we think it's right.
Delay after delay moon mission. We'll have details on the timing for next week's launch. Newsbreak will be back in 2 minutes.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
My mother was always very familiar with her neighborhood, but one day she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual, and she didn't know whether she should go forward or turn, and she wasn't even really sure where she was at. It was very unsettling for her.
I felt so much better after my son told me, Mom, I don't want you to worry or be afraid. I'll be there for you and we'll figure it out.
How prepared is your family if a tornado shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a hurricane? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking, let's go. You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes. Make a plan today.
Days of delays for NASA's Artemis program. After 2 scrub launches, the space program is now looking to take off later this month.
Reporter Juliana Narvaez from our DC Bureau has more on the moon mission.
The Artemis 1 mission launch, the beginning of a space program which aims to return humans to the moon and eventually send crewed missions to Mars, was postponed on Saturday after team members discovered a liquid hydrogen leak.
According to NASA, Artemis 1 will not launch for the remainder of this launch period that ends on Tuesday, and will instead aim towards future launch periods set for September and October to ensure the safety and the mission's success.
We do not launch until we think it's right. So I look at this as a part of our space program, of which safety is the top of the list.
Not only does the Artemis program look towards sending the first person of color on the moon, it also aims to establish a permanent base, learning how to work and live there so astronauts can eventually take that knowledge to the next level, Mars.
The purpose of going back to the moon is to learn to live, to work, to develop, to innovate, to survive in that hostile environment as we prepare the new technologies to take a human crew to Mars.
Although Artemis 1 will not have any humans aboard, it will carry 3 mannequins to measure deep space radiation future crews could endure and to test new suit technology.
Artemis 1 will kick off the first phase of NASA's space exploration program with goals to send a diverse group of astronauts to the moon and eventually to Mars, with missions set for 2024 and 2025. From Washington, D.C., for the South Florida Media Network, this is Juliana Narvaez.
Apple's September keynote might be called far out, but the event is just around the corner. In 4 hours, the company is expected to unveil its new iPhone 14 lineup. The invitation features a night sky with a constellation of stars forming the Apple logo. Leading fanatics to theorize camera upgrades for nighttime photography are on the way. There's also rumored that a new Apple Watch model will be unveiled as well. But prepare those wallets, because it is likely we'll also see price hikes.
That's all the time we have for Newsbreak. I'm Samantha Gutierrez.
And I'm Julian Davis. Get more news anytime at sfmn.fiu.edu.